The question that was asked before is also relevant here because it has to do with the intended purpose of a medical device, and it's also related with the level of evidence that you provide as a manufacturer of a medical device. Because if I'm saying this is, don't know, for recruiting the patients for a clinical trial according to some criteria, and then there is a bias, like this specific characteristic of the sample are leading to an incorrect interpretation of the results, then it's a problem. And if the manufacturer does not recognize it or does not even take it into account, it's liable. Already now, because of the medical device regulation, we don't have to wait for the artificial intelligence. And consider that according to the regulation, basically AI is included. If you look at the AI Act and the Medical Device Regulation Act, they are the same requirements. Well, there are specified requirements for AI, especially for the interaction with AI. But laws are already there, so it's not that now those things are not regulated. So if there are, you can prove that there is a bias in an algorithm, already now it's a problem for the manufacturer. So, and according to the definition of AI, if you look at the definition in the law, what is an AI? Any algorithm, according to that law, is an AI, any algorithm. Statistical learning, any simple algorithm like branch tree algorithm, decision algorithm, any kind of machine learning, everything is an AI according to the law. So it's already here included. So as a anything that has to do with the patient, it's a medical device. Because if you look at what is a medical device by definition, diagnosis, prevention. So preventing, secondary, primary prevention, in some cases also primary prevention, it is included in the definition. So if you are targeting a patient, a group of patients, it's a medical device. So if you say, but I don't want to develop a medical device, it's not a choice. It's someone else decide if it is a medical device or not. So you cannot say, but I just want a wellness application. No, if you are targeting patients, it's a medical device, even if it's counting calories. So, and that is also another important point. It's not that any other device has no intended purpose, but this has a legal implication. So if I'm saying this device is intended for people with cognitive impairment, helping them reminding things during the day, just to give a stupid example, I, as a buyer, as a user, cannot buy it and use it for people with, heart failure, because it's not in the intended purpose. So in that case, I did something wrong. I should have read the intended purpose and the technical dossier of the device. But if it is stated, this is for my target population, and according to the stated intended purpose, it is applicable, and there is any side effect, any accident that are directly caused by the device, then the manufacturer is liable. And that is also something that happens very often. Here, what is intended, what is in the definition of the intended purpose, they don't only take into account what you write down in the technical dossier and the user manual. Also, what you state in commercial, any promotional, any marketing materials, because it happens often that in the manual it's written, you have to be very careful. You don't have to use it for this or this other purpose. If you approach a person that has this problem, don't give the device to this person. Then in the commercial it says it's a wonderful tool for everyone that can use at home, in the clinic. And that is the reason why in the regulation they said, okay, whatever you say, and wherever it's reported, it's part of the intended purpose, because you, as a manufacturer, stated what this device is for. And since it's a medical device, the point, as you've heard many times already, is the clinical evidence. So you can state this device is intended for this or this other application because of the evidence that you have, if you have it. If you don't, you cannot include it in the intended purpose. So as an example, an hospital information system in general is not a medical device because I'm just moving data. I'm not treating the patient with the hospital information system, but in some cases, some functions. Those are functions that are included in the definition of medical device. So the PACS server, the server that manages and, more importantly, show medical diagnostic images to the medical doctors, is part of the diagnostic process. It's like a decision support system for the medical doctor, so it's a medical device. It's a function of the hospital information system. So maybe the hospital information system is not certified, but that function it is certified. Any clinical decision support system is a medical device. So there is no decision support system in a clinic that is for the patients. That is not a medical device. Telemedical systems, if they are just moving data, so connecting a device to some backend server is not a medical device. But if I'm delivering care directly with the telemedical server service, it is a medical device. Also, the electronic patient records in general are not medical devices, but specific functions might be included in the definition. An easy example is that you have your healthcare electronic patient record on your desk as a medical doctor, and it has a special function, AI generated summary of my patient. That is a medical device, because it's not me reading a document on a screen. It's an AI that decides this is a clear picture of the overall health status of the patient. So it becomes a medical device. Almost everything that is included in the regulation is about two aspects, safety and the clinical evidence. The clinical evidence is the one that you use for writing down the intended purpose. And you don't do it just at the beginning. So you, before putting the device on the market, you have a clinical trial and prove, you get the clinical evidence that you need to write down the statement. You have to do it continuously, also after you have the device on the market, as a post-market surveillance, as also a post-market trials, because you want to extend the intended use for many reasons. Also to verify if the assumptions were true, that the device is safe for all the patients, for all the targets. So in the end, it's what you do as a manufacturer is a risk-benefit analysis. So it's part of the technical dossier, the risk analysis. It's a very important tool. So almost every regulation, including AI, is based on risk analysis. It's on the manufacturer to prove what is the clinical evidence that has to be considered enough for having that statement in the intended purpose. And on the basis of the specific application in Europe, but it's the same also in US, it's just a different terminology and categorization. But so according to how high is the risk for the application, you have different classes of medical devices. So a pair of crutches are a class 1 medical device, so the risk is very low. If you have already a device that in the intended purpose has a measurement, like measuring the blood pressure, is not putting anyone at risk if putting on the device to measure the blood pressure is not harming anyone, but still you are stating that it's a measurement. In that case, it's a bit more than a class 1, and it's certified by a notified body already. Any software, standalone software, starts at class 2A. So that function, the AI-generated summary of a patient record, it's by definition at least a class 2A. And then, as you can see, if you have a very critical function like dosing a drug automatically or almost automatically, is class 2B. If it's a tool for spine surgery, is a class 3. So that is the last slide. Just to state some important points. So if you are planning to develop a medical device, it's not that you do your research and then at a certain point decide, okay, now I put things together and I certify the device. You, before even think about having this certification in the planning phase, you should already, in the design phase, you should already start following directives and regulations to be compliant with the norm. And for that, you need a quality management system, certified or not, but you need a quality management system in place. Otherwise, it's impossible to, and it's prescribed. So in any case, even if it's not certified. That is very important. You heard it already yesterday, and also it's in the AI regulation, stressed a lot. So user interfaces, manuals are not, so that must be written in a way that you make sure people will understand. And it's on you to prove that in that way, people will operate safely the device. So it's on you, manufacturer. You cannot say to me, these instructions are clear. You have to prove it. So it's part of the technical dossier. You have to prove it, that it's clear enough. And of course, if you are a user, pay attention to the intended use and the level of the device, so the category the device is certified. And so as I said, if you are not into risk analysis, have a look at it, because it helps in many ways and in many aspects of the research, especially if you are targeted developing these devices. And as you can imagine, lawyers are an integral part of your team. So it's not that you do things and then you tell the lawyers 1 year after. You do it together, so that you save time and you avoid half of the problems that you can have as a manufacturer of the medical device.